Good afternoon. Today is the 16th of February, Friday, February 16th, 2024. My name is David Pyle. I'm interviewing Chuck Martinez and at the Rocky Mountain Regional VA Medical Center in Aurora, Colorado, as part of the Remembering Our Veterans program. So, Chuck Martinez, thank you for coming. Appreciate your taking time to do this.
Yes, sir.
So if you would, sir, if you could start off by telling us a bit about your childhood, like where you're from and where you were born.
Well, I was born in Walsenburg, Colorado, and then raised in Pueblo, Colorado, and brought up here in 1963. My mom was ill, and my older brother thought it'd be best to have her come here for medical reasons.
So it was around that time then?
Yes, that was. I was in high school at the time,
Okay.
and I was going to North High School, and up until I played a lot of sports.
You did play sports in school?
Yes, football, wrestling, gymnastics.
Really? Okay. In gymnastics, did you say?
Right.
What'd you do in gymnastics?
Had fun. I did the
Can
parallel.
you elaborate there? Were you the parallel bars and
I
the rings and all that?
Well, yeah, I checked it all out. I primarily specialized in the parallel bars.
You'd be really strong to
The
do that.
rolls and stuff. Well, I loved it.
Yeah. And you wrestled too?
Yes.
What weight did you wrestle at?
I started off at 145 when I was younger, and when I got here, I think I was still 145 when I was here at Denver, North High School.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
So when you got out of school then, what, 64, 65?
66,
66.
right, sir.
And so from there you went in the Marines. So you chose to enlist?
I didn't go to the Marines directly. I went to junior college in Nebraska, Cook, and had a lot of fun there too. It was quite educational, and I was asked if I wanted to be a courier for the GSA, and got my first government license in Nebraska. And I was a courier going from Cook all the way up to Oklahoma. So just government documents I deliver.
Well, it must have been kind of interesting for you, particularly at that age.
It was.
Your
I
little
learned
travel
a lot along the way.
Did you go to like this junior college that you're at? Did you go on an athletic scholarship? Or?
No. My athletics is all Marine Corps.
We'll come to that. That's like, so, okay. So it was after a year or two there that you decided to go in the Corps?
Well, I was transferred over to Oakland, California, and got a scholarship there, and I went to junior college there, Hayward, and from that point, my mom sent me a draft notice, and it was for the Army, and it gave me some time to think, what am I going to do now?
Right.
And my dad, my gramps, and older brother were in the Army, and I thought, well, it's not for me. I chose the Marine Corps.
So your dad and your brother both were Army. So your father was a World War II vet?
Yes, by all means, he was.
Did that have a pretty strong influence on you then as a kid?
Well, I was happy to know that what he did there, he was a tanker. He drove a tank. So he did his job and made it home.
So was he in Europe or?
Well, yes, I think so.
Yeah.
In Europe and also Germany there.
So you decided you wanted to be different.
Well, not different, but it was my choice because I felt the Army couldn't train me as well as the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And all my aspiration was toward the Marine Corps because when I was younger, I thought about the Marines and I thought that's what I want to be. So I continued to keep that in mind. So I chose the Marine Corps.
So when you enlisted then, were you able to choose like an MOS or something?
No, you don't choose your MOS. It's that's according to probably both generally your score and so forth. But here along the way, what actually happens is that you're assigned, and once you're assigned, that becomes your MOS. And my assignment was to be a rifleman, and like we all were actually, and that turned out to be quite a challenge. I went to MCRD for recruit training. At boot
Where
camp.
did you go to basic or boot camp?
That was in MCRD, Marine Corps Training Depot.
And where was that then?
That was in California. He was Sacramento, California,
Okay.
just north of San Diego.
And did you did like advanced infantry training then after that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, because it was all about getting that training to boot camp done, and then going on to get into our assigned MOS.
Specialty? Sure.
And next thing, guy realized that after boot camp, we were assigned to go to Vietnam.
So what year was this that you went in then?
That was actually February of 1968. And I went through 69. I got my duty was over at September of 69. We served actually about 18 months.
You served 18 months.
Right.
Then. So you got it kind of an early out or something.
Well, kind of, sort of. It's usually our assignment, discharge or whatever, once our duty's done.
So did you
Our assignments.
did you go to NAM then after your AIT or advanced
Yes,
training?
yes, by all means.
And what unit were you assigned to?
Well, I was assigned to a company, and then as part of a battalion, and also I was squad leader, and I had 13 men that I took care of, as well as pointed things out regarding our missions, patrols, and so forth. So we were, like I say, we were quite active. We were what they call 6-man killer teams, as well as search and destroy missions.
Was that pretty much what your mission was? Then
Yes.
Search and destroy?
I was in the Northern I Corps area. In our base camp was Camp Schwab, and it was in the Quang Tri province, and it wasn't far from Da Nang. But we operated that area, as well as our operations were primarily based on the infiltration routes, so forth, that the NVA would try to come into South Vietnam
Right.
and harass
Supply
the
lines, whatever.
South Vietnamese, right? All those operations worked out, and we were in good standing regarding our recognition, in the jobs we did.
So trying to think, that was the first Marine Division, right? It was the second-
Yes,
the first or fourth?
no, it was the first division.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But
That's
you
why-
guys really took all kinds of crap over there. It's just-
Well, we did,
you really did.
and we had quite a lot going on, for that matter. And for one thing with another, And, the jungle itself was quite an ordeal. To put malaria, which I am getting, as well as, dealing with the Agent Orange, which they had even forewarned us that they were going to spray that or drop it. And I come home and I've got a lot of effects from all that. First of all, with my liver, and they're getting a liver transplant because of that Agent Orange.
Really? You've had a liver transplant?
Right, and I'm doing pretty good today because of the fact that, I maintain all my medication and all that. And that happened in 2005.
So what was it like being a Marine rifleman, And,
Well, I had my squad, and we were assigned certain.
You were in the field most of the time?
Right. I'd say 100% of the time, actually. And when it came down to it, there were patrols and so forth that we had to pull, and especially if we're noting from intelligence where they might be, and they were always attacking these villages and so forth. So we'd be there to try to help the provinces or the people in those little villages out. And a lot of times when it came down to it, we ended up in a firefight. And a lot of situations where I have to admit that I was kind of fearing what would happen, but I pretty much got the lead out from under my helmet, put it that way.
You got the
Yeah, and I decided to do what I had to do. So I took charge of my squad and started maneuvering them and leading the crowd and going right at them. We managed to clear that area, and the people there in the village were again safe. But we took a lot of flack, especially from the Viet Cong and the NVA there, wherever we went. But all in all, when it came down to it, that's what it was all about. It was like cat and mouse, and we found out later on in the year there that we were dealing with the 1st NVA Division. And I don't want to put this make it too frightening, but we did operations up at the DMZ, and we're actually digging up grave sites. Digging up grave sites of the NVA,
right.
Finding out what information we can get from their bodies as far as paper they might have had in their uniforms.
Yeah.
And we turn that over to intelligence.
You were in firefights,
Oh,
almost
definitely,
daily,
definitely.
regularly.
It was like a daily thing. It was happening every time we turned around. We'd end up in a firefight on our patrols or whatever, and along came this operation. We're called on, and military intelligence always comes up with these ideas, saying stop these certain the FAA very Kong from harassing the people of South Vietnamese. And it just so happened this operation came up, was called Apache Snow. Well, Apache Snow was all about the 1st NVA Division wanting to take over a certain area. And we had to go up there to find out what we could do to discourage them. And they were pretty much, I think, waiting for us. And a platoon of ours got wiped out.
I'm sorry?
One platoon of ours got wiped
The
out.
whole platoon,
Yeah, they wiped them out. And we didn't hear any firing or anything. But at one point, we couldn't get communications with our third platoon. So third platoon, lots of communications or something went wrong. So my squad was assigned to go find out what was going on up there and what actually happened. When I got up there with my men, I checking the area out, looking to see what could have happened or what did happen. And I seen a bomb crater, and I just got right off the bat, I got a picture of what could have happened. And I assumed that they might have gotten attacked and they jumped in that
Crater.
bomb crater and they got wiped out like a bunch of fish in a pond, so to speak. So anyway, then along about that time, I heard a noise and I wasn't sure who it was. And it obviously wasn't our people. So I got my radio man, called back to the CO and the rear element, to call it. And he gets on the phone with me and the radio, and I just let him know what was going on. And his word was, go ahead and continue
With the mission.
searching or whatever, getting information and get back with you. And I said, I will. I'll do just that. Then all of a sudden, we got attacked. And they're pretty much, pretty much around us. They pretty much attacked us from all sides. So they're kind of like probably a U-shaped ambush. And they were firing RPGs and rock Pyle grenade launchers.
Sure.
And when it came down to it, when they're fired, they shoot them and then they blow up. Well, that shrapnel just pretty much splatter everything was around it. And fortunately, none of us got killed at that time. But what happened was we called in air support, and air support come in and kind of softened the situation out because it kept them down for a bit. And then finally, the rear element came forward because there was probably supposed to have been an NVA division, and we had a battalion of Marines, that were our rear element. And when all that quieted down, the rear element came to where we were. And then the CO asked me if I got, had a head count, which how many men are missing and so forth. So I went ahead and told him I got 4. And it turned out that he asked me, what was I going to do? And I said, well, I made my mind up. I'm going to have to go in after him. So I went in after him, like a snake in the grass. And that alpha grass is pretty high. And I spot one in a clearing. He was moaning. And then I got him back. Kind of drug him from where he was, I had to pull him by his ankle toward me. And as I did that, I was looking across from where he was, and I could see another one of my men. And I had to do the same thing, but try to get him before, any enemy would spot me or maybe try to go back and finish them off. So I was concerned about that, and I finally decided to go after the second one, third one, and then the last one. And when it came down to it, at the time, I didn't realize it, but I got hit with that shrapnel from the RPG, and my cheek was swelled. And, you get that adrenaline going, and, you really can't, you don't feel anything. So I finally got that forth and back, and they're all quite grateful. So everything kind of mellowed out, and we're ready to get back to our headquarters. So when we were on our way, this lieutenant of ours come to me and he told me, they're put in for the Bronze Star. So that impressed me. I thought, interesting. So, I was just kind of waiting when that would take place. And actually it didn't take place until I got home.
Right.
Down at the Federal Center here, he had a ceremony.
Really?
And pinned that Bronze Star.
Yeah, I was thinking that's at least a bronze, if not a silver star, though,
Well, I've got that too.
You did.
And also 2 Purple Hearts.
That's not right.
Yeah. So I'm quite relieved, I think, but I got my faith, I feel that without my faith, I probably wouldn't be here today. But that brought me through.
Yeah, I hear you. It's like,
I'm very grateful.
geez, Chuck, that's like you definitely went through it just incredibly so.
Well, it did, but
what about the silver star?
I never
incident?
dwelled on it.
Yeah.
And I feel today I could pass that on to a lot of other vets. At some point I have, because I have talked to a few, and my story doesn't any good at all. I just hope a lot of other vets just realize, it was a thing that happened, and we just got to take that with stride and bless the day we got home.
And you say you also got a silver star. Was that on another mission there then?
Well,
obviously?
it was part of that, because
was
the
that?
fact is it was in lieu of the 2nd Purple Heart, because I had actually gotten wounded in that incident that, I was getting those men out of harm's way, getting them back to safety.
Right. Which was an incredible act of heroism there, just to do something like that.
I say I did.
Were you
my
under fire
job.
at the same time, or?
Yes, sir.
You were.
Right, sir.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, I come home, got married, and I had 3 wonderful children. I got all of them to be grateful for.
If you don't mind, I would just stay with your military experience a little bit more there. It's like, so you spent a year out there, just in combat almost daily. It's like,
When I enlisted, I can bring this up, going back a bit. There at the recruiting station, they wanted to take me in for 4 years. And I thought, and I told the lieutenant that I was talking to that I'd consider re-enlisting, which I did end up doing. And then I was in California. I was a troop handler, and had home barracks with all the schools. The troops that were going to school there at MCRD and Camp Pendle, as a matter of fact.
okay.
And there they assigned me to as a cross-country chaser. I went going state to state to pick guys that had gone AWOL or whatever. And that was an interesting job. Before my final assigned duty station, I was in San Diego as a military police. So I enjoyed that also. But
So how long were you stateside then after you came back from Nam?
Oh, it's probably about a year.
Okay.
Yes. I guess it maybe the bug that gets in us that we feel we're not done yet or something,
Right.
and that's what I felt. Like I told that lieutenant, I consider re-enlisting, and I did just that.
Did you get a promotion for that re-enlistment?
Well, to think about it, I was very disappointed because, I went from private to
Lance Corporal.
well, not as corporal. It was you go for private, the Marine Corps, private, and then you go to private first class. You graduate, so to speak. And unlike the Army, I guess they go PFC right off the bat.
Yeah.
But yes, and then I was Lance Corporal. And then I was up for meritorious promotion, which I got cheated out of. I came home on leave because my wife was having issues, and I had to come back home to see what I could do to help. And I took a job, and next thing my older brother tells me is that Dad called and he says the FBI was over there. So here all of a sudden they're assuming I deserted or whatever. So I couldn't understand what that was about. So I reported back to my duty station, and first thing they asked me for if I had my identification. So if I had deserted, I would have gotten rid of it, but I didn't. And I thought at that point I better do something about it. And I went down to 32nd Street, and that's where the Navy JAG attorneys were. And I talked to one, and he supposed to have helped me out. Avoided a court martial, but they were trying to make such a big thing out of it. And the problem was I was in the hospital. I had a relapse of malaria there at base, and I had to go to the hospital. So that's why I was out at the hospital. And at the hospital when I got the word from the family and my wife at the time that I needed to get home and help out. And they gave me a leave of absence, but they didn't report it to my headquarters. And that's where the problem was. So, if I could start all over again and get them to doggone understand what had happened, which wasn't meant to be bad, they made it worse than it actually was. And I was up for a meritorious promotion for sergeant. So they cheated me out of that.
Well, that's amazing. So what I wanted to ask you, back when you were in Nam even, what did you think of your officers then?
A lot of them did their job. They were good. We had a CO, a captain. I could share that with you. He wanted to be a John Wayne.
Yeah.
And actually, on some of the operations we had, he wanted us to charge a hill. And we're looking at each other. Wait a minute, this guy's got to be kidding. But we did it anyway.
You did it anyway.
We followed the orders. But then, back when we got back to base camp, CO came to all of us, and he said, well, he was pretty forward. He stated that he felt or heard that there was a bounty on him. In Vietnam, that's the way it gets. I mean, if somebody does somebody wrong, especially the officers, and there's no good is a big calm,
Really well.
They're our enemy too,
Right.
come down to it. They were going to jeopardize our lives, and we had to do something about it. But nobody really did. He got transferred over to logistics, that officer, and turned out he was where he was supposed to have been.
He was very exposed to it.
Yeah, before he did something wrong.
Nice way of putting it, exactly. Getting you all killed.
He's going to lose his life there.
Yeah, that's amazing. So your base camp, did you have a whole company there at your base company?
Yes, we had the platoons,
Yeah.
Literally 4 platoons.
Yeah. So it was a pretty small
Alpha,
outpost then.
Bravo, Foxtrot, and Lima.
Casualty rate?
We literally probably had about 40%. It was quite rough.
In your squad?
Well, my squad, all those guys made it home.
I'm sorry.
All those guys made it home.
That's good. But
I've got a picture at home that I take pride in.
have you kept in touch with any of them?
No, that's always something that would like to do, but
Yeah.
it's not so easy.
No, that's true for sure.
Got to contact, find out where they're at today, and it would be nice. And I have thought about it.
Well, so you got discharged then in what, 70 was it?
Yes, the second time it was about 73, I think.
So here's
So I literally
Question.
put in about 5-6 years
Yeah.
in the Corps.
So here's one for you. It's like, what's your most vivid memory of your whole time in service there?
Well, that was primarily being the military police there at San Diego.
Okay.
It was called North Island. It was a Navy. It was a Navy. They put a lot of planes and their equipment on mothball, and with that equipment there was still have to be tampered with. So we're there to protect it, prevent anybody from.
You have any fond memories, things that
Well,
near and
yeah.
dear to your heart there?
Yes, I could say we have the R&R, recuperation time,
Right. Where'd you go for your R&R?
and I chose Australia, and I got it. So I was able to go to Australia, and I enjoyed that.
How'd you like Australia?
I was
Do you
pretty
remember
nice.
any of it?
Yes, I do. To this day,
Sorry.
I all felt stiller, and I don't know, but younger people would even know her. But she was there with her husband at the Motor Inn, and that's at one age, showing pictures with the nice entrance there, or the Australian scene,
Mhm.
you'd say. So yeah, there was a lot of places to go to. Went to the Down and Under, where the VGs had entertained.
Really? Yeah. So did you get into Da Nang or anything?
No, I didn't associate very well.
Okay.
I wasn't one to go out of my way.
Sure.
I was pretty much to myself, and I took Vietnam very serious.
It would make you all the more serious, I would think. for
Right.
sure.
Well, I was, on top of my job, put it that way.
Yeah.
focus on that.
It would have to be when you got all those lives that you're responsible
Well, exactly.
for.
Yeah, being responsible for at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, so I don't have any regrets necessarily.
Do you have any humorous or unusual kind of events that you recall?
I can't actually say, I mean, well, there was aspects of that. Uh, say some of the guys in my squad were hilarious. Instead of calling by their name, they'd have initials like TC is Top Cat, DK is Detroit Cool, because that's the state they're from, but those initials were from their names. But I would put that together with their,
Right. Come up with
their-
something else.
yes, from where they were from. So that was pretty humorous.
Well, yeah, I would think you have to develop a pretty dark humor to survive.
Right,
there,
that's
and,
true. But
so a lot of folks.
the humor was primarily enjoying the guys I was with, and the
Yeah.
one I served time with there.
So back to your end of service, and talking about awarded medals. So you had 2 bronze stars and a silver star.
No, one bronze
Oh,
star,
excuse me, and 1 bronze and 1 silver
one
and 2
silver,
purple
and
hearts.
2 purple hearts, right?
Yeah,
They're not easy to come by.
they are not easy to
It's
come by.
not like
That's what I'm sitting here
In
thinking.
some cases that they just hand them out.
Yeah.
But I heard a rumor that the Army did that in some cases.
Well, that's what I was say. I mean, the Army, it was more common, but the Marines, you really had to
Yeah,
learn those
well,
things.
we were serious. We were directly concerned about our lives and so forth, and helping the circumstances. It's it's a job we're put there for,
Right.
I'm actually proud to have served, and I am proud of being a Marine. Always will be.
Semper Fi.
Right, always faithful.
Yeah. So, how about after you got out of service then? What kind of occupations did you have?
Oh, I was undecided at the time, but I actually went to junior college at community college, and I went for criminal justice, and I went as far as making up my mind, and I thought, well, I thought about becoming a police officer too, but the thing about that, I went to the exam, take the exam for it. And about that time that I was there, I changed my mind and thought, no, I don't want to be an authoritarian. So I chose not to be. And I don't like the idea of having to feel like somebody's less than me, or literally harassing the public, So I chose not to. So I finally decided to become a mechanic. And I was a mechanic for RTD.
For how many years?
Oh, 10 years.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
You worked on cars, whatever, trucks?
No, the
What-
diesel engines in the RTD,
Is that
Regional
right?
Transportation
Sure,
District.
the RTD.
Right. And I worked on the road. I had did repairs when it broke down on the street. And matter of fact, I had a service truck. I used to hang around over on Market Street and wait for calls. And when those calls came in, then I zoomed off to wherever that bus was stranded. And I end up checking the vehicle out and doing what repairs I could, and some that I would be able to do. I'd have to call for a tow truck to get back to the shop. Otherwise, I tell the driver, when you get that back to the shop, this is what I found, and this is what has to be done. So I could only do so much. You know?
Troubleshoot them in the field
Right,
or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you did that for 10 years.
Right.
What came after that?
Oh, I was actually a juvenile counselor.
What kind of counselor?
Juvenile counselor.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, for Gilliam Youth Center.
Okay.
And I worked there for a while. And I don't know, it's just like I try to find myself and find where I'd be, be fit best, in my life going forward. So what I did there, I still in that limbo, I guess. I imagine happens most veterans, not having the PTSD, but just the idea
Well, I'm going to ask you.
of not being able to wake up our hands.
Have you've gone through the PTSD program here?
No,
You've not.
no.
Were you diagnosed with it?
Well, not per se. I mean, the fact is, I'm taking medications for it.
Yeah.
But I don't, I don't dwell on Vietnam. I can talk about it, but I don't lose sleep over it. I try to maintain my cool, so to speak, just to be aware of everything else going on in my life.
You say your faith has been really important to you.
Yes, it has. And
you want to speak to that a bit? It's like you feel like you've made peace with yourself and your creator there?
Yes. And yes, and I continue to carry on my faith. And want that to be my legacy, just to feel
So
like
are you
I'm
active in
waiting
your church? Or?
Well, I try to be, and right now I'm not driving, so I need to eventually get me a vehicle, which I don't have.
Yeah.
So, like in dealing with the veteran stuff, I have to, I've got diabetes, so I have to deal with that.
Well, even with the Agent Orange exposure on that, I mean,
Right.
You've gotten a disability out of all this, have you?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. What they awarded me for first thing was for malaria, and they gave me 15%.
50?
15%, and that wasn't much. It was pennies. So when it came down to it, along the way, then so many other things had become evident, I guess, with my liver and so forth. And that had a skin condition. And that didn't help matter. And I think that was from Agent Orange also, because I was taking a shower one time and I've got a rash on my face. And I didn't understand at the time, but thought maybe I just needed an appointment for it. But that was the first signs. So I knew that, that was, from that time there, that I knew that Agent Orange had a lot to do with it. I had problems with my feet, and my skin were the most harmful, I guess. I don't know, the V worked too slow. and giving them all that information. And it's like taking medication for years. At the same time, nothing. I can share something also. See, my nails are a little clearer now.
Mhm.
And the thing about it, my toenails had became white, like from the fungus, affected by that. And so with Agent Orange and all, so did my fingernails and my hands. And fortunately, after a period of time, and I had been to dermatology, she off and on for I can't remember how many years. She I could say from 1977 to this date, you know, and been a real cure. They finally end up extracting toenails and hoping it wouldn't go back the same. And yet, all of a sudden, I had my nails went bad, especially my right hand,
Oh,
and brought that to their attention. And of course, they were good about giving me something for it, and that managed to clear up pretty well thus far. So feeling good about it. But there's too much that we sacrificed in Vietnam to, give anybody any credit for.
yeah, no, I'm just sitting here thinking, I hope you're at 100%, you know.
Well, I am today.
Good. I mean, you certainly deserve it, you know. Like, I'm glad that, thank God you got that. You know, you definitely deserve that. for
Yes,
sure.
well, I put every good that does, but yeah, we're never done. Not with the VA, not through our, trials and periods of time that we have to be dealing with the one thing or another as far as the health is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about your family. You're married and you have children?
Yes, I've got 2 daughters and 1 son. My daughter's here with me today, the oldest.
I'm sorry?
My oldest child is with me today, my daughter Dawn. And she's been right at my side. She's been very,
Oh, there she is there.
very helpful.
Well, she's lovely.
Yes, she
proud of
is.
her, huh?
She's a sweetheart. And then I got my other daughter, and then my son. Of course, he's got his own business. He does a lot of graphic art and does silk screen and stuff like that.
That's great. Are you still married?
No.
Tried it once or twice?
Well,
Or
I guess just like anybody, you go so far, then something doesn't work out, then it's got to end it. I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah, I can appreciate that for sure.
Well, I don't feel good about it, but I feel like we each had to go our own ways. Where my children are concerned, I still want them in my life, and I do have them in my life.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Well, it's great that you've got your daughter there. You know?
Right.
It's like, I'm sure it's a real blessing for you, for sure. It's like, so let's see. It's like, you got any hobbies? How do you keep
Well,
your-
I used to like being there for people and working on their vehicles. But, now with my condition and such, I'm not as sharp as I used to be, but I still enjoy helping people.
Sure. Come and volunteer here with us, you know?
Well, I could possibly do that. I could look into that.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you
Yeah.
could.
If they have something, then fine.
It's a good place to
'Cause I
come.
did work for the old hospital. I was in housekeeping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't mind that. It was quite interesting. And a lot of good people.
No, I think the VA has a lot of, it's a
Well, I could
very
look,
strong community here, I think.
right,
you
I
know,
could look into it. I love
yeah,
the camaraderie here.
all of that for sure, absolutely. And I think that gets more and more important as we go along, you know. It's like, it has for me for sure. It's like, so let's see, you got any amazing once in a lifetime experiences that you had even outside of the service? Anything that comes to mind here as far as momentous occasions in your life there?
I'm thinking very hard, and yet I can't pinpoint anything spectacular. But thus far, it's been a good life.
Doesn't have to be spectacular.
Yes.
Well, you seem to be more of a thoughtful, reflective kind of guy, you know. I think that I'm pretty self-contained on that.
Well, I'd like to be in control of my feeling and whatever else I choose to do, you know.
So let's talk about your reflections here. It's like, how did your military experience affect your life, would you say?
There was a lot of pride I had in being a Marine and serve my country. It, you know, otherwise wouldn't have had. The Marine Corps could teach me a lot of good.
Yeah, I would say that's had a profound effect on your life
Right.
for sure. Absolutely. It's like there are life lessons that you learned from the military.
Yeah, just being grateful for having done what I had to do, and going forward, I feel like I'm grateful it's all over.
Yeah, it's gratitude is something hard won at times. You know, it's a hard lesson to learn.
I don't have any actual regrets in my life.
Yeah. Fortunate man to say that for sure. So, what are some of the things about being in the service that you miss? Anything about that at all?
Camaraderie and
Yeah.
also being apart, you know, primarily.
Something larger than
Mhm.
yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's true. You make some pretty good friends there, I think. You know, and
I had it, and I've, you know, put myself in a position where, I mean, I've got neighbors I get along with mostly everybody.
sure. Yeah, that's a good thing for sure.
Staying level-headed.
You know, I think we had some pictures here, like that we wanted to take a look at here together. Can we bring this in? How about if we do that? It's like, how about if we bring this one up here?
Yeah, that's the numeral there.
We can bring this up. This is Chuck, obviously, as a young Marine. Got it? I know. Yeah, right. So you're what, about 19 or 20 there?
No, I was probably 18.
Okay, you're just a recruit.
Right.
Okay. Looks like, let's see, trying to go in some kind of sequence here. So these are all military pictures from when you were.
Right.
Let's
That's
bring this up here. Let me
we're
take
at our home base.
quickly show this one right here. Okay. So here we go. You're saying this is, what do we got here?
That's when I was pretty healthy. I was weighing 170 pounds there.
Yeah.
And with that malaria went down from 170 to 118 pounds.
Whoa, that's incredible.
And it went down badly.
So is this you?
I'm in there.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
are
that was your platoon?
This is my platoon, right?
Yeah.
And then Yeah, I've got my squad. These are guys in the lower bottom there. Good bunch of guys here.
Yeah.
And that was me and my radio man getting ready to go on an operation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that he'd Vietnam, you know.
Let's go here.
Take a picture.
This is your bronze star.
Right, sir. That's where I was awarded out at the Federal Center.
Okay. And yep,
I also had this book here, and it actually
it talks about
reads what had happened in that operation.
Well, God, I would
It's
love
called
to.
Apache Snow.
Sure, I would love to have read that for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
And
Okay,
that's
and
what
then
it took pride in.
there you go.
This is in town I was raised in, Pueblo, Colorado, for Chili Fest. Tyler and I like going down there, and this is they built what they called the River Walk, and they built these like pyramids,
Right.
and these are all veterans from Colorado, and on that pyramid they've got these names with tags regarding the veterans that were honored.
That's great. So they were all local from near Pueblo there. So
Surrounding areas.
So in this one, show
My
you that
daughter
one.
Dawn and I at one point.
Yeah. Okay. This is you and your daughter.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's my hat with my Bronze Star.
That's so
A
great.
lot of my other pins.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a good shot of you.
Yep, that was me.
Looking pretty healthy and happy there.
I think that was at Chili Fest there in Pueblo.
And I think this last one here.
Well, that's my grandson and I had gone up to Evergreen
Yeah.
and captured a picture there of me.
Okay. Well, that's a nice shot of you. It looks like it's fairly recent.
Well, I was able to climb the hill with no problem.
The hill.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, it was right. One of the off the road, and the river comes down, and they have like a barbecue facility there. You can,
Picnic area or something.
yeah, you can. Yeah, it's a picnic area, and you can also barbecue in that area with these hills and so forth next to the river.
So you have a little landslide there or something, or
Well, I hope not.
no? Okay, it was just it looked like there'd been something going on.
Yeah, it's
erosion, whatever.
Pretty good hill. It's
Yeah.
kind of steep.
Yeah.
So that was a nice
Well,
nature
great. Thank you for
nature
sharing that. That's,
moment.
those are some nice memories there for sure.
Thank you.
All right, so coming up for conclusions here, what do you wish more people, civilians, knew about veterans and military service?
Well, I believe if they had any sense, they'd recognize, but some people just tend to be not interested, and eventually you hope they realize that it was for them, and we take pride in that, but we don't feel selfish, and people in general just got to start getting along, and that's what it's all about. I would hope they start seeing the light.
Absolutely, that's increasingly critical for sure.
Right.
So what would you like people to know or remember about your journey, your life?
Well, I I didn't hesitate to reach out and help, you know. And they were there for the worst and hopefully the ending of that, you know, experience.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say that you'd like to leave for future generations who might view this video?
Just always take that life as a meaning and not for granted. It's a meaning to live.
So anything else that we haven't covered here that you would like to say here?
Well, I just hope at some point, you know, and some chance that this can be an example to people in general.
Yeah.
You know, we've all been there and we've done it, and it wasn't for ourselves. It was for all our families and the American people.
Your country, sure.
Right, our country.
Yeah. Well, Chuck Martinez, thank you. I truly appreciate it.
Did very well.
Good to meet you, and thanks for this interview. It's
All right, sir.
came from the heart there.
Thanks for this moment.